Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I know I'm in the car. It's too windy for me to be outside. It's making too much noise, I think. But I was trying to be out in the beautiful, beautiful desert. It's a lovely day. I'm playing hooky. Look at that. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Might even do some fishing. Shh. And I got my grandson with me. So, hi everybody, how you doing? I got some news for you, and you're not gonna like it, but that's okay. We're gonna get into it. There's a couple new assembly bills floating around. People are talking about them, so let's just dive right in, okay? New assembly bills and Senate bills that are floating around. There's three of them I'm keeping an eye on. One of them is to help stop squatters in the state of California and removing squatters' rights. Don't feed into that too much, okay? That one in regards to squatters' rights is in regards to squatters that have been there for 5 years or longer. How's that help us? Okay, so you hear me? The other one is talking about us landlords being required to provide stoves and refrigerators starting as soon as January 1st, 2025. No, 26, sorry. Almost freaked myself out, said the wrong year. 2026, January 1. So, with that being said, we may have to provide refrigerators and stoves going forward. I got a feeling that one probably will not pass, but there's a bigger one I'm watching, and I can tell you guys right now, I got a bad feeling about this one. Bad feeling about this one. So give me 2 seconds so I can pull it up, and then we're going to go from there, okay? Where am I going today? I am actually in Apple Valley. I'm here with my grandson. I'll show you, but he's preoccupied. I don't want to bother him. I'm actually in Mojave Narrows Regional Park. You can fish here. There's a playground, picnic area. It's kind of neat. Our lead, probably if they want it, it must be electric appliances. This is true. If this law passes, it'll be electric stoves. That's absolutely true. All right, buckle up. Here we go, folks. You ready for this one? AB 1157. Got it? Assembly Bill 1157 will modify state rent caps. Here's the information of understanding what the proposal is, okay? The changes that would be made to 2019's Assembly Bill 1482, also known as the Tenant Protection Act. Assembly Bill 1157 would reduce maximum rent increases to 5%. Everybody pay attention to what I'm saying right now, please. It would reduce maximum rent increases to 5%. It would reduce the allowable rent increases to 2% plus the CPI. Right now it's 5% plus the CPI. Everybody paying attention? With a max of no more than 10% is what it currently reads. And they want to change that to 5% maximum, putting the allowable rent increase to 2% plus the CPI. And here's the part that made me throw up in my mouth. And include all single family residences. I'm not frozen. Did you get that part? Include all single family residences. I hope this bill doesn't pass.
Patty, I mean, that's what the JCO is all about, because that's where they want to go and do rent control on all, on everything.
The entire state is what they're looking at, just like they did to New York.
Mhm.
I hope they get Newsom out of there. Thank you, Val. Thank you. She said, Patty, I think you warned us about this. Don't feel bad.
Patty,
Will
even if you own it in your like own name, not an LLC, not all of corporation. Gotcha. Okay.
all residential dwellings will be subject to statewide rent control. All residential dwellings. Somebody asked me, what's considered a residential dwelling? An RV in a trailer park? Absolutely, if you're collecting rent. All residential dwellings. It's what they're trying to do. Deep breath. All right. I got that out of my system. I know there's dead silence in the room right now. I know I have a lot of it. It's because all of us have a bunch of emotions going on and all at the same time. And I'm trying really hard not to vocalize those emotions because my daddy was a sailor. I'll leave my statement at that. Not very happy about the bureaucracy and bullshit. Melanie says, what was it so I can't not have those emotions? I missed what it was so I cannot have those emotions. What it is they're trying to implement statewide rent control on all residential dwellings. Instead of capping us at a maximum of 10%, they want to cap it at 5. That would be the CPI plus 2%, not to exceed 5% annually, and include all residential dwellings, including all single family residences. So for everybody, no matter how you hold title. So if you were exempt before and this passes, you won't be exempt anymore. You're now subject to. Got it, Melanie? Aiden, I need you to be quiet. Yep. If you're in RSO is more restrictive, so RSO would control you. It's still being voted upon if it'll even be approved. When it'll take effect is all in the details. Yep, they keep digging in deeper. Yep, they keep doing it. Hopefully this all comes to a stop within the next 2 years. I'm pretty certain you guys aren't going to re-vote Newsom in to continue. There's a sheriff running out of Riverside. He's got my vote. I've sat and talked with the man before he decided to run for governor. I've known him for about 10 years. He's got my vote. That man is no joke. Okay. I need to be careful what I say because I don't want to incriminate anybody. But do you guys remember January 1st, 2024, when they deemed crime-free housing as being discriminatory and saying that we can't get together at our local sheriff or law enforcement offices and be educated on crime-free housing, CEPTED, because it was all discriminatory? You guys remember that? I teach a lot of CEPTED, okay? West Covina, San Diego, La Mesa, all over Southern California. I teach a lot of CEPTED crime-free housing for those groups. When the law changed and it stopped, certain counties said, I don't think so. We don't like this law. And let me explain why. In very rural areas, and I'm trying to pick and choose my words carefully because I don't want to get anybody in any kind of trouble, okay? In certain rural areas, okay, and I'll give you a great example of what I'm talking about as a rural area, and you'll go, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Think of Lake Elsinore, okay? You guys know what I'm talking about, that swampy lake out in the middle of Riverside County. It's kind of a desolate area, little houses here, houses there, a little bit of a town. Well, it's grown quite a bit. They now have apartment communities throughout the area in Lake Elsinore. Those on-site managers would call law enforcement telling them when something was going on in or around their community. They helped law enforcement to manage what was going on. Look at it this way, is he said, I have a bunch of eyes and ears all over this town that notifies me of what's going on. And now the government's saying those I can't use those eyes and ears? No. So he didn't necessarily agree with the law change in some areas, and in those desolate areas, they continued to do that program. They may have called it something different. They may not have offered the same information, but they still kept that community together. It's almost like they're trying to break us down as a community, as a group. Okay, make sense? All right. I'm going to get to your questions because I know you guys got them today. I don't know when it'll take effect. Yes, digging. He's got mine too. The sheriff in Riverside, man. I talked to him before he decided to run for governor. I like his line of thinking. He doesn't always agree with the bureaucracy and bullshit, but wants to do what's right. He has good integrity, good ethics.
Patty, what's his name?
For the life of me, at the moment, I couldn't tell you if my hair was on fire.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
the reason is when here, let me teach you guys something about Patty. If Patty is pissed off and raging, the photographic memory doesn't work. Okay? If I can't focus and I'm raging mad about something, my photographic memory doesn't work. So I can't tell you his name if my hair was on fire right now. I'm too mad about them wanting to change statewide rent control. Hey, at least I'm honest with you guys and you get it, you understand. I'm a strange one. My brain works in weird ways. Anybody have any questions we need to talk about or address today? I thought everybody would be very interested in hearing how they want to revamp the statewide rent control initiative, also known as the Tenant Protection Act. There is a sunset clause on that act that was implemented January 1st of 2020. It has a 10-year sunset clause on it, but I'll tell you this right now. They've already given it a civil code. From my experience, sorry, you guys, I'm letting people in. From my experience, things with civil codes don't sunset and disappear. Make sense? All right, and then let me just check really quick. Does anybody have anything that we need to talk about today, address today, other than the new legislation they're throwing at us? I mean, we had an idea. Once they start putting in controls, they really start trying to control.
Hey Patty, it's Erica from Roadrunner.
Hey!
Hey, I have a question. I have San Bernardino County, a single family home. The property owner does not want to accept April's rent and would like to immediately proceed with eviction.
Why?
Due to the tenant's past late payments. He pays, she accepts, and then he doesn't pay, and then she gets angry.
Do you have a waiver clause in the lease contract?
Yes. I assume, maybe.
Yeah, don't assume anything in this industry, honey, or we make asses out of both of us.
Okay, so this was a transfer property, but they were using car forms.
I need to know if there's a waiver clause. What year was the car form contract? Bottom right-hand corner, please. Last revision date.
Hang tight. Is that Joshua? Mm-hmm. I'm pulling it up, last revision date.
Bottom right-hand corner.
On Joe Burns, 12/2019.
Car forms 1219, bottom
Yeah.
left-hand corner.
Yes.
Bottom left, right? Correct me.
Oh.
Bottom left corner.
Wait, so are you splitting? Bottom left, I'm pulling it back up. Are they small there? Yes.
Okay, perfect. 1219. And we're looking specifically for a waiver clause. I believe it's down there about 38 in your paragraphs, between 38 and 42.
Okay, I'm pulling it up.
It should have, just skim as you get in the ass into the contract, just skim of what it's highlighted. One should say waiver. Tell me you see that.
Okay, hang tight. I don't. Between 38, give me a second, I have someone.
You're fine. I know it's there. I can see it. And people that don't know I have a photographic memory are like, Patty, what's going on? I can see it in my brain. I can see where it is on the page. It says waiver in bold letters. Where'd you go, Erica? She go?
Sorry. So sorry. I have someone in the office. I didn't want
I know. I get you.
38. No.
It says waiver in big bold print.
No.
Okay, if you don't have a waiver clause, you got a bigger problem. You need to give, are they on a month to month currently or in a term?
Yes. No. Yes, month to month.
I'd give them a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy. Anytime we take over a property that we're handling, saying that we're reverting back to the original terms of the written rental contract. Why? Because if you don't have a waiver clause in there, by accepting the rent late, you're changing when your rent is due.
I found it. I'm sorry. It's number 31.
Okay, so I would let them know that, write them a letter, as per your written lease contract, paragraph, page blank, item number 31. You have a waiver clause in place. Your rent is due on the 1st of the month, as per your written contract. I wanted to bring to your attention that it is now being deemed late on whatever day, so you're just reiterating when the rent is due.
What if the owner did not want to accept April's rent? Can she do that?
No, can your landlord right now, where you live, if you go pay your rent, just say, I'm not taking it, I'm evicting you?
Okay.
No. No.
Okay.
Doesn't work that way. Okay, she can either give a notice and pay relocation fees if she wants her out, or she can attack, if you will, and if she doesn't pay the rent on time, do the eviction. That's how you get them out.
Okay, she must accept the rent.
Yes. Unless there's a notice in play. She doesn't have a notice in play.
No, no. He tried to pay. She said, don't accept it.
It doesn't work that way. Look at it this way, okay? Today's the 2nd. She hasn't paid the rent, right? Serve a 3-day. If she pays within 3 days, you don't have the full amount. You have to accept it. If they don't, you don't.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, thank you.
I hope that helps.
Thanks.
And you have the weirdest things sometimes, but I want to point something out to everybody, okay? Do you see how an owner can pinpoint, twist, and turn things and get us down a rabbit hole that we're wanting to rip out our own hair? What do you mean if they pay the rent, don't accept it? By law, you have to, unless there's a notice in play and it's not the full amount. So put a notice in play, okay? Sometimes owners give us this much information and expect us to run with it. And I will never, ever forget this until the day that I die, and I'm going to share it with all of you, and you're going to laugh, okay? In corporate America, as the regional manager for a company, my broker is mad at his own tenant and his own rental that I manage. And he is off with their heads. Okay. So he tells me, I want you to raise their rent 30% on a 30-day notice. Raise their rent 30% on a 30-day notice. You guys, hold on. This was 15 years ago. Okay. And I said to him very, very calmly, sir, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'd be more than happy to raise the rent 30%, but it will be on a 60-day notice in compliance with the civil code. He looked at me, his face red and shaking. He was so mad, but he knew I was right and couldn't argue. My point is, sometimes when we're emotionally connected, when it's my own property, remember, I don't screen my tenants. I give it to somebody else to look at because I want to take their money because I need to pay the bank, right? We're human. Remember that. Please don't forget it. All of us are human at the end of the day, and we get our emotions involved, and that's where we get ourselves into trouble. So this owner is projecting something to her because of something they want, and we have to try to figure out how we're going to make that work from a legal perspective so that we don't end up in an orange jumpsuit. It's very challenging sometimes. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, who else do we got a question from? Because I know
Patty, Oh, I have a question in regard to the same topic. You know how you said that if you accept it late, you are changing the terms of your rental agreement? Is that correct?
Unless you have a waiver clause. If you read your waiver clause, it says something kind of like this, and don't quote me verbatim, okay, you guys? But it says something along the lines of waiver. Just because it's happened in the past doesn't mean it's changed the rules. If the owner has waived that in the past, it doesn't rewrite the rules. So that's what that waiver clause means, is just because you did it in the past doesn't mean it changes the rule.
Okay, so if you have that, then you're good, even if you
Bingo.
accepted it late
Bingo.
previously. Okay, got it.
So whenever I took over, landlords only call professional property managers when they need them. Fair enough. They don't call us and tell us everything's sunshine and roses in their life. They call us when they need help. Okay? The very first thing I do, and everybody that does fee management, please pay attention, because this is right out of Widget's playbook. Okay? Anytime I take over a property and, hi, I'm the new manager and I'm doing a takeover letter, I do it in a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy. Why? What terms are you changing, Patty? We're reverting back to the original written terms of the rental agreement dated blank. This takes effect in 30 days. Why does Patty do that? Because any oral agreement, verbal contract, blah, 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 that's been going on, that's different from the written rules, will change back to the written rules in 30 days. And now Patty knows exactly what the rules are. You're welcome. 30-day notice change of terms of tenancy to revert back to the original terms of the written contract dated blah, blah, blah. That way, if an oral agreement or some other thing got thrown in the mix and convoluted everything, that goes away in the original terms control on day 31 of management. Everybody got it? I hope that makes a lot of sense to you guys that manage property for profit. It's a really good way to clean up whatever the previous management company did or whatever the owner did, trying to get the balance right. I hope that made sense and answered your question.
Yes, thank you, Patty.
No worries. Anybody have anything else? This is hard, you guys. It's really hard for me right now, and I'll
Hey,
show you
Patty.
why. Hey, look, can you see it
Erica?
in the side view mirror? What I'm looking at? There's a lake back there.
I
Sorry.
want to go outside.
I know, right? Come on, you guys,
No,
look. It's a
again,
beautiful day.
I have a couple of other problems. Again, San Bernardino County, this one is a multi-family unit. My tenant has passed away. The daughter came in yesterday to inform me that the tenant passed away. She needs time to get the dad's possessions out of the unit. Legally, what do I do?
How much time does she want?
I'm giving her until the 15th. Can I put a formal date? Give me this. I give you time. What about rent? What do I do?
Deep breath. As we sit currently, the rent is due and payable as of today. So did you want to make a partial payment on the rent until the 15th, until you're ready to move all of the belongings out?
I can do that?
Well, it wakes her butt up and uses it as manipulation, because if they understand they're going to have to be paying for something, they hurry quicker.
Can I give her, I'm gonna give you until this date, and then at this date, I'm going to take possession of the unit formally?
Say that to yourself again.
I know, okay.
And that's okay, because sometimes we need to do it. But yeah, I'm like, say that to yourself again, because you paused as you were saying it out loud because you caught yourself.
I did.
I know.
I did.
I know you did.
I
So-
have.
So we're going to
Another-
take this a different direction, okay?
Yeah.
You're going to put a 3-day to quit in play.
That breaks my heart.
Honey, I'm not telling you that you have to evict.
Okay. So I would assume this is for my single family home. I have a tenant. She was elderly. She passed. Thankfully, not in the home. The son, who's not on the lease agreement, this is another 3-day quick get out. Oh, this is horrible.
I'm sorry, I don't have a written contract with you. You don't have a legal right to take over the unit. Are you going to be giving me possession? Are you going to be giving me a 30-day? Did you want 30 days? Because they need to understand something too, okay? As the executor of the estate or of the next of kin or whatever you want to talk it, they get the security deposit back unless they fart around and waste too much time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
You see how this works? Give and
Yeah.
take, okay?
Okay.
Just don't take any rent from them or they become your tenant.
Yes, got it. Thank you. I'm
Okay.
stressed.
Right, but you could push don't you want your dad's security deposit back?
Yeah.
By waiting till the 15th, you're spending half the deposit on rent money to me.
Yes. Do
Oh,
I
I didn't
still do a formal disposition letter?
say
Yeah.
that again.
Okay. I know. All right. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you. We're talking out loud. We're talking out. I wanted to tell you, don't forget to do your disposition within 18 days.
Yes.
No, it's not 18 days. It's 21.
21. It's
But in
21.
corporate America, we do it at 18, so accounting has time to cut the check.
That's correct. I have 15 days every time. So
Our date parameters are off, and everybody else is laughing at us, going, "These two women are crazy."
15 days. We got it. Thank you, Patty.
Okay, you guys, look. That guy caught a fish at the big trout. Look, you see it? He's walking with his dog. Can you see him? He's running with the trout. Sorry. That was my fish, guys. I'm being funny.
Hi, Patty.
Hi.
On the same situation, what if the person was living at the property?
Different
not
set
on
of
the-
facts.
Oh, okay, so they're not on the lease, but they were living there.
Did you accept rent from them? If you accepted rent from them, they became your tenant.
They pay on Appfolio, so I don't really know who I'm accepting rent from.
That's a problem.
Because
Think about that. That's a problem.
It's the name of the tenant, but I don't really know who's paying.
Yeah,
on
no, I
Appfolio.
get it. I know. Are they continuing to pay the rent after the person died?
Yes,
They're your tenant now.
that's what I thought. Okay.
Once the person died and rent's accepted, they're now your tenant. If you return it immediately, if I can't accept rent from you, you're not my tenant here, then it starts that interaction. Did they die
Got
in
it.
the unit?
No,
Oh, good. And I sent somebody else to you last week. Did they contact you?
no. Mm-mm.
Okay, I sent somebody else to you last week. I got another one. I'm like, oh, you need
Thank
to
you.
call her. No problem.
Thank you. Okay, I'll
No
talk to you
worries,
soon.
no worries. All right. Anybody else have anything? I'm telling you
Patty,
that lake's calling me. It's calling me, you
I
guys.
know. Patty, it's Sydney Davis. I'm in the car, but I have a question for you with my ongoing craziness and my tenant. I have a multi-unit building. She put a camera up outside her garage area, unauthorized, not approved by me. What steps do I need to do to have it removed?
Which written rental agreement does she have?
Well, it's an old rental agreement because she's been my tenant for 9 years. I don't have it in front of me, but there is a clause in the lease that says that you cannot make any repairs or attach or anything like that to the property without written permission from the owner.
Okay, so because you gave me that language specifically, I am going to assume that you have that paragraph in your contract, and I'm going to tell you how to act on it.
Okay.
You gotta find that paragraph or this doesn't work. Okay.
Okay.
So for those of
Uh-huh.
us listening that go, oh, that's how you do that. If this isn't in your written contract, this isn't how this works. Okay. So
Okay.
if it's in the written contract, the verbiage you're looking for is regarding to modifications to the property without written consent of the landlord. So any modifications to the property without written consent of the landlord are actually considered a material breach of your lease. So you can do a
Right.
3-day curable breach of covenant to remove the item, but you need to take into effect that it causes other issues, especially in a multifamily community. This person could then be accused of spying on other people, stalking. Does this all make sense to you now? And that's
Yep.
the reason
Yep.
you're asking her to remove it, is because it
Right.
violates other people's right to quiet enjoyment and privacy. So keys there are modifications to the property without written consent of the landlord and right to quiet enjoyment.
Okay. And then do they have a certain amount of time, 3 days to take it down, or am I able to just take it down?
What city is it in?
I'm in the unincorporated area of LA County in Ladera Heights.
Under DCBA.
Yep.
Hey, that brain of mine works pretty damn good, don't it?
Yep.
I don't always know
Yep.
like that, but sometimes I do. So I get proud of myself when I win one. Okay.
Okay.
Hang on. Ask me the question one more time.
If I give them a 3-day to take 3 days to take it down, do I have
Can
to
you
wait for
take it
them to
down
take it down, or
yourself?
do I take it down myself?
Okay. You don't look good in orange.
Okay.
Understand
So
the
don't take
reference?
it down myself. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But
Yep. So
can
just
we
give them the notice to remove it, right?
Can we take it down ourselves? Yes, but we have a process and a procedure to get there. So it would be, I'm
Okay.
writing you a letter, you didn't comply, you've made modifications to the property. At this point, we're going to do another letter, and you have 30 days to remove this, or it will be removed for you. And you will be
I have to
charged
give her 30
according.
days. I
Well,
have to give her 30 days to
hold
remove
on.
it.
You asked
Okay.
me a question. I'm giving
Yep.
you the answer. What I would do
Okay.
is give her a 3-day, you're in violation of your written contract, because the 3-day
Okay.
is much quicker if she complies. If she doesn't comply, you have options. Honestly, you could
Okay.
start eviction based on a nuisance, but eviction is
Yep.
a $65,000 to $85,000 word. So I try
Yep.
to avoid it. At that point, instead of doing the eviction, I would then give her a letter saying, I'm giving you X amount of days to move it. And the reason I'm saying 30 is look at it in the eyes of a judge. Are they going to be okay with you giving them 30 days or telling them they got to get it out of there in one? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to err on the side of caution by the 30-day thing and then removing it and charging them. They're also going to have to pay for any damages to your property where they
Right.
drilled the eaves.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
I hope
Thank
that
you.
helps. No problem.
So Patty, on that same question, she can't do it at the end of the 3 days. It has to be 3 days, then 30, correct?
Well, look at it this way. She's under rent control and under the DCBA. So if she actually in LA County, so she could basically start an eviction on a nuisance rather than tell them that she's going to remove it. Her other option is to do a 3-day curable, go reinspect and do that 5 times, 3 to 5 times before she does the quit notice and then start the eviction. So in my opinion, I don't even want to go down that road. I just want to get rid of it. So the 3-day curable is trying to fast track her brain to get rid of it quicker. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to go the 30-day route. Because look at it this way. She's going to go to court and argue, Judge, she spent money on that camera and that cost her money and I took it away. I want to make sure I don't look like a devil in a courtroom and I gave her ample time.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem.
But there was no request for permission for it. She just put it up there while I was out of
Sweetheart,
town.
I get it. I understand. But just because they poke us in the eye doesn't mean we're going to turn right around and jab them back. Okay. The courts
Okay.
don't look at it that way. So we have to be very careful on how we react. I'll tell you this. The way we've done business for the past 40, 50 years has changed dramatically and drastically. And we all need to come to the realization that the justice system is just us and it doesn't work. It is broken. And what we used to do for recourse to get people out of homes and the eviction process and go after them for the money for the damages, that's all changed. That's all changed. It's a much different playing field right now. We are no longer in control. Come on, get rid of Newsom. Get rid of Newsom. Get rid of Newsom. Because I think he just spreads it. Okay, I see that there's other things that I need to get to. I just sent my question. Let her know the daily rent show her. Yeah, see, daily rent helps. I'm telling you guys. Quickly, LARSO tenant brought in a roommate and management could not get a credit check because the Social Security isn't recognized. This is in 2021. So she did not add this one to the lease. Now the original tenant has moved out and the roommate wants to take over the lease. You mentioned something about adding an addendum to just say no roommates. Is that all we can do? Because we really don't want him to stay. Here's the reality. You've been accepting rent from him the entire time, so he is your tenant. I'd get him on a written contract so you have written rules that he has to follow. Got it?
Hey, Patty, this is Belsi.
Hi, Belsi.
Hi, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I have a new owner and he is purchasing a house in Moreno Valley. This property has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, but the garage was converted into an additional room with a closet, flooring and everything. So the new tenant, it will have only the driveway to park. Well, now the owner wants to know if he can rent the property for a higher price because it wouldn't be 3 bedrooms, it would be 4. But now he's afraid, like, okay, what issues would I will have, like in case in the future I have to evict the tenant because this garage that was converted in a room, it was not permitted.
Is it permitted now?
Nope, no.
Tenant, you legally cannot collect rent. It's illegal.
Oh. So, but collect rent, like a higher rent, or you mean he still can collect rent for the 3 bedrooms and 2 baths
He
if
can
it's rented?
collect rent for the 3 bedrooms and the 2 bath and put in an addendum that that other room is for nothing but storage and no one can live in it.
Okay, so it's up to the
Someone's
tenant if.
living in that room, then your tenant doesn't owe rent because the house is uninhabitable because you don't have a permit for that addition.
Okay,
So
okay.
you need to
So,
make an addendum saying that no one can live in that room. It is for storage only.
okay, got it, for storage only. And yeah, okay, and that will be fine in case in the future the owner has to go through an eviction with
I
the tenant.
strongly suggest and highly recommend, with all the leniency in getting rooms permitted because of the fire, that the landlord just go through the motions right now to get it permitted because they're giving them away.
Okay.
In
Okay.
other words, I'm trying to say this, they've made it much easier to get permits in LA County because of the fires. So
Okay, thank you,
because they're
Patty.
trying to add housing, gets looked at as you're trying to help fire victims and goes through the permit process maybe faster, maybe easier, with a little more leniency. So if you need permits or trying to make something legal, now's a great time to do it. Because they're bending the rules because of the fires and having to rebuild for all of that. So you might as well take advantage. That's all. And I get that you don't want him to stay, but you're going to have to be real careful on how you approach that. Because technically and legally, he's been a tenant there. He's been living there. All right.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else? Because I keep looking in my rearview mirror and all I see is that water and there's a big, oh, there's a blue heron flying over it. You guys want to see it again? Such a pretty day. Look. Here, I'll show you guys where I'm at.
I do. Oh,
You can ask your question. I can hear you.
oh, okay. I do have another question, Patty. This is Lorena again. So I
Baby.
went to go do, huh?
I said, hi, baby.
Hi. I went to go do a walkthrough at this property in Huntington Park, my once a year walkthrough. And there's 2 units they're downstairs and upstairs, and it has a balcony. So these people put like these tarps, like these blue tarps, to cover the balcony, and they're full of crap. Like, I don't even know what is in there. It's just like full of crap. And my question is, how do I just give them like a change, like a correct and whatever that document
Cure
is?
quit.
Yeah, cure or quit, to get everything off of
but
that balcony, or
it's for 2 reasons.
okay.
It's for storage because you probably have something about storage outside of their property.
You mean in the lease?
Yep. Because you can
Uh,
only do a cure or quit based on what the written rules are.
Okay, so I have to look at my lease. It's an
And
AGLA lease.
I got you. So you're going to do it on cleanliness. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to do it on modifications to the property without written consent of the landlord.
Okay. Hello?
Hold on, I'm thinking.
Oh. Oh.
I know there's one more. I'm sorry. Patty's brain goes down the rabbit hole. You have affecting the right to quiet enjoyment because it's an eyesore.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so then I'm
knew-
gonna look at the contract first
I
and
knew
then
there
look
was
and do.
3 things, but I couldn't spit the other one out. I could see it in my head, but it wouldn't come out of my mouth. So that's why I just froze. I'm sorry.
I don't have my camera on because I'm driving.
Oh.
So I'm like, did I lose her? What happened?
And I wanted to say, I'm not frozen. I'm frozen. The screen's not frozen because I was just sitting here going, duh, it wouldn't. Yeah. Brain
Okay,
fart.
I'm gonna take a look at the contract right now when I get to the office, and then taking advantage that I have you, I'm gonna quickly step into a quick second question. At another property that we have in Southgate, the building is all electric. There's no gas, so we have electric stove tops, and people keep using the wrong, even though we tell them, they keep using the wrong cookware, and they keep messing them up. And so I'm writing up like an addendum that I'm having the tenant sign when we rent the unit, and also like for the people that we're now exchanging these cooktops for, saying I'm basically taking the information from the manual of the cooktop and putting in an addendum, and I'm putting tenants agree to the following. Is that okay?
Here's what I would do if I were you.
Okay.
And yes, that is okay. But hear me out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know how when we're moving somebody in at a property, we sit down and we take the time of, and everybody else listen to this because you'll learn something, I promise. We do things like, hey, we got 117 pages of lease addendum to go through, so I'm going to do the quick version. If you want me to slow down or go into depth, let me know. And we give them the quick, easy Reader's Digest version of what they're signing.
Yep.
Same concept, baby. Got it?
No, what do you mean?
Well, isn't that how we go with disclosures? I would be telling them, look, here's a long disclosure about using this stove, but I'm going to tell you right now, you have to use certain pots and pans on it, and if you don't, you're going to damage it. If you damage it, you're paying for it. You understand? Sign here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I mean, I never had the addendum, and I never told anybody before, if you damage it, you're going to pay for it.
But
I had told them.
Don't worry about what you're putting in the addendum. I hear
Got
you.
it.
You're
Got
giving
it.
them
Got
the
it.
manual. You're giving them all the precedents. But where you're going to drive the issue home is when you're talking to them, when you're moving them in. They're not going to read that. They're not reading it now.
Yeah.
That's
No, they're not. Yeah, because I'm
Right,
telling them you can't use this type of stuff, and it goes in one ear and not the other. But
Right.
if you
But
tell
now
them you're going to pay for it, yeah.
You're
Mhm.
signing that you're going to pay for damage. And I'm telling you right now, this is an issue. So please pay attention because you're going to pay
Mhm.
for the damages. So
Perfect.
put the addendum up, write the addendum. The addendum isn't going to do crap for you. Where it's going to count is when you're talking.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
So
Got it. Got it.
point
Got it.
out of, hey, I'm letting you know this is an issue with this house. So please pay attention because you're about to sign that you're going to pay for the damages. So listen up.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
good.
and I would do it that way with your talking to drive the point home. The addendum isn't necessarily going to help you, but and now that they're signing it drives the point home that you're vocalizing.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Patty.
And for everybody else that doesn't manage property for profit, yes, we do use manipulation as a tactic. Sometimes we can tell, you can give somebody something and they may never read it. Sometimes I can tell somebody something until my face is blue and I have no air left in my lungs. And Lorena can walk in and say the same thing and they hear it perfectly from her, but they couldn't hear it from me because I was the bearer of bad news and they didn't want to hear what I was saying. When she comes in and says the exact same thing a different way, they now understand. They just didn't want to hear it the first time. Makes sense? So sometimes we go around and around the merry-go-round until we find a way to make it work. And she's right. They're not reading. That's the problem. That's what she's trying. They're not reading. So now she's going to vocalize and try to help them. And the signing just helps seal the deal of, oh, she wasn't joking. She really is going to charge me. Rachel, my question is, after I give my tenant a 3-day notice to fix a crack window and it wasn't fixed, do I have to give her another notice or just call the glass guy to fix, change it, and bill it? You can let her know that you're going to be changing it and charging her accordingly if she doesn't do it. So I would do second request on the notice and I would let her know, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to do it for you and charge you. Tenant moved out while the house was clean. They must have been mopping a lot because the baseboards, which are fake wood, are destroyed due to water damage. I suppose the tenant is responsible. Absolutely. They are not going to agree. I don't care. It's a tough one because replacing the baseboards, it'll be expensive. I'm going to assume that they used too much water and damaged the baseboards. Technically and legally, you shouldn't use water on pergo wood floors. You should dry mop them and spot wipe them. They are not made for cleaner or for water or any of that stuff. So yes, absolutely, it's damage. You know, let me tell you guys a story. I had a tenant in a property once that caused a hell of a lot of damage because they were a clean freak, OCD clean freak. And we laugh and joke about it, but do you know what happens when you clean? And I'm going to just give you an example, a kitchen faucet or a bathroom faucet, and stick with me here, guys. You know the metal trim? Do you know that if you use bleach that consistently every day as a cleaner, it will erode the metal? This woman was such a clean freak with bleach that she ruined all of the metal hardware in the property. Ruined it. Ruined. Destroyed. Bleach will eat away at the metal trim that goes around a sink and the faucet handles. It'll bubble it up and eat it away. Corrode it. Yeah, I had to charge her for that. Whole house, all the fixtures, all of them. Anything that was metal, she bleached the hell out of it until she deteriorated the composition of the integrity of the structure. It happens. All right, anybody else?
Hey, Patty, quick question. This is Anthony.
Hey,
Your number one fan, and hopefully you'll send me your autograph picture soon. Anyways, let a tenant dies who's one of our veterans. He's by himself. He's on the lease only. Is it 30 days the parents have? Now, the parents gave everything. The parents came. We met with them. We boarded up the place. What do they have? 30 days to move all the stuff out from the time of death, or what is it on that one?
it isn't. Pay attention. I may ask questions later.
Uh,
The longer they take to get the crap out of that house, the more money the owner loses.
correct.
So we want to do it as rapidly as possible. So what we tell them is, well, you're responsible to pay the rent until you turn in the keys.
Right. That was the issue. So March was the end. So now April. So they're going to be
Bingo.
paying
And
for the rent.
right, but we have the security deposit. We can refund you so you get the deposit back. So don't you want that money? Don't you want to get out fast? So
I
you get
see,
that
said
money.
the blind man. I
Again,
see.
manipulation.
Okay. I gotcha. Okay. So we have the, okay. I got you. Okay. So every day they're leaving the money in there. That's less money they're getting back. You are the best in the whole world.
I'm
Hi,
glad
Patty.
that I'm glad that clicks and makes sense, because some people don't understand, but that's your niche to try to get them out as fast as possible. Is you're going to get that money. You're going to get that money. The longer you stay here, you're not going to get money back.
You're awesome. You're awesome. I'm going to make that call today.
No worries.
We all need a little patty on our shoulder all the time walking around. I'm just saying.
Hey, that's why I tell you guys, text me, call me. I answer at all times of the night. You know, Anthony.
Yeah,
I even answer at 3 o'clock
or
for a fire.
I don't recall, Your Honor.
All
Hi,
right.
Patty. Can you repeat the three things with the storage and patio? Cleanliness, eyesore, and what was the third thing?
Right to quiet enjoyment.
Yes, I have that.
Right
Clean-
to quiet enjoyment, cleanliness, and she said something about blue tarps. So they're covering it all up with blue tarps. To me, that's a modification to the property without consent of
Modification.
the landlord. Because look at it this way, they basically tried to make a shed on the balcony. Yes?
Okay, got it.
Yeah, okay. Modifications to the property without written consent of the landlord.
Okay. I have a tenant that has a very sensitive nose, and she keeps calling me, there is a smell from here, a smell from there. So in 2 incidents, she was right. There was a smell coming from the from apartment across the street, not across the street, but adjacent. And then there was a sewer leak. But most of the time when she calls, like she called me yesterday, and I said, well, I need to give the tenant 24 hours notice to go in. Oh, she's gonna clean up after that. And I'm just tired of listening to it.
I'm sorry that you're so uncomfortable living here with common area neighbors. Maybe apartment lifestyle isn't for you. Have you looked into renting a home?
I got it.
I didn't tell her to get out. Everybody, please take note. Yes, I did just say some very creative words, but they were very creative. I never told her she had to leave. I never insinuated anything other than maybe community lifestyle living isn't for her.
Mhm.
And maybe she would be much happier in a single family home where she didn't share common area walls.
That's a good one. I like her for the other reason. She always brings attention to things that other tenants don't see that need to be taken care of.
It's
So,
a blessing and a curse.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anybody have anything else? I'm telling you, there's a lake back there calling my name. I'm being funny, and now people aren't going to ask me because they didn't feel bad. And I'm just being funny. In my trunk, girl. Val, I could say this to you and you'll laugh loud, right? I have an active fishing license and I carry a fishing rod and tackle in my car on a daily basis. Yes, grasshopper. All right, I saw another question come in. Hang on. I don't eat fish. I absolutely do not eat fish, you guys. Absolutely. And just so everybody knows, I'm going deep sea fishing in May. If anybody wants to come and join me, I have an overnight trip coming up in May. So let me know. I think I have 5 spots left. And then I'm going on a 2-night in August and there's no spots left. So there you go. If anybody wants to go deep sea fishing with a widget, I'm going, I think, on Saturday, May 17th off the top of my head, out of Oxnard. So if anybody wants to go deep sea fishing, let me know. I think we got about 5 spots left on the boat. It's an overnight. And most of the ladies are going, I have no idea what she's talking about. And no, I don't eat fish, but my family does.
I love
And my grandson sitting next to me goes, I love fish. I know, honey, I'll catch you some halibut and some white sea bass. Rock cod, link cod, what do you want? White fish?
salmon.
He said salmon. I love him. Does that mean we have to go back to Alaska? Because I really like it there.
Yes, I want to go back.
All right, everybody. If nobody has anything else, we're coming up on the hour. I will end it for today. And yes, it is a drive. It's a drive for me too. 3 hours one way, but it's a good fishery is why I love it.
Patty, in the
Yes.
city of Whittier, you can do a 60-day to enforce for can you enforce a 60-day notice to move in Whittier?
It's a double-edged question. You understand? And I'm
No.
gonna explain you why.
Okay.
Whittier proper is incorporated. West Whittier, South Whittier, East Whittier, and North Whittier, never eat shredded wheat, yeah, are unincorporated and in under DCBA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so DCBA requires relocation fees.
Okay.
Okay, so, and it requires cause. Whittier, now I'm going to ask you, is it subject to the Tenant Protection Act or exempt from the Tenant Protection Act?
Okay, I don't know. Let me find out.
Is it a multifamily or a single family?
Multi.
So you're subject to, so now you're looking at statewide rent control of 1 month's rent on a 60-day notice. But what you need is the address so you could push it into Stay Housed LA to make sure it's not east, west, north, or south Whittier, because then you have a problem.
Okay, sounds good. I'll figure it out. Thank you. Have fun fishing.
No problem.
You need to put a sign. You need to put a sign up on Gone Fishing.
Okay, and I need to tell everybody something right now. So thank you, Lorena, for reminding me, and I'll put it in my email. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be late. We are late, okay? We're not even starting until 2 next Wednesday. So Wednesday the 8th, we're going to be live, but I think it's not going to be till 2 o'clock, okay? 2 o'clock next Wednesday, and I'll make sure I put it on the webinar. All right, anybody have anything else?
Have
Nothing.
fun fishing.
Yes, yes, of course. My grandson and I are very excited about it.
Maybe we can have the fish for dinner.
I'm not eating fish for dinner. You can have fish for dinner. I'm not eating fish for dinner.
I can have any type of fish, even with the gas.
You go right ahead. I'll eat the crab and the shrimp, and you can have all the rest of it. All right, everybody. You guys have a great week. If you need me, you know how to find me. And if you have questions, I'll just be sitting here by the lake for the next couple hours. Feel free to give me a call. Apparently, I have cell signal. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Patty. Thank you. Have fun.
Thank you. Bye.